So, Diablo 4, Blizzard's ARPG, has been out for just over a year now. The question to be answered, is it any good? And honestly, no. No, it's not. So let's start with the positives. The campaign is actually great. When compared to Last Epoch or Path of Exile's campaign, it's hands down the best. It's well voiced, visually stunning, and engaging. I cared, and I understood it, because let's be honest, I still don't understand what the hell is going on in PoE's campaign, and I've played it many times. By the time you've finished trawling through the encyclopedia of what the fuck am I supposed to do in Path of Exile, you've lost track of what's going on in the campaign. Diablo 4's visuals overall are stunning, the character models look good, and they can be customised. The gameplay itself can be fun unless they've nerfed the shit out of your favourite class. Loot Reborn dropped some good changes. Itemization is better, crafting is better, and they brought masterworking into the game. And Helltide has been more tolerable. They added the Pit, more Uber bosses, Tormented bosses, which are the Uber versions of the Uber bosses, and we have the Gauntlet. Leveling is also much quicker, so surely that's a win, right? Well, in my humble opinion, no, not really. If you're a new player to Diablo 4, and you've just come out of the campaign, excited to engage in the endgame's content, there's a few things you'll need to do. And they're all part of the renown system. Unlock waypoints, do side quests, strongholds, discover areas and side dungeons. Now, you'll do these naturally as you progress through the endgame, which is fair enough. But then there's the last thing. You'll need to search the map for 160 altars of Lilith. These reward you with stat points and paragon points, which you need. Thankfully, you'll have a horse with which to do it. You're going to need it. Also, there are now guides showing you where they all are. Use them. And you'll only have to do this once, and thank God, because I'd rather try and shave my man vegetables with a rusty cheese grater than do it again. It's obnoxious and frankly unnecessary. It's there to waste your time. So what about the rest of the endgame? It would be true to say that in Season 4 I've had the most fun in the game since launch, but that's not saying much as the previous seasons didn't set the bar particularly high. Season 2's vampiric content was good with impactful abilities, but the rest of the game was so shite that I just didn't care, and the less said about Season 1 and Season 3 the better. Ignoring the seasonal content, some of the endgame content I have no problem with. Do Helltide, fight hordes of monsters and bosses, level up, get gear and materials, do dungeons for the same result. Do Capstone Dungeon, move up to World Tier 3, rinse and repeat. There are also Tree of Whispers, which rewards you with gear and some materials. Once you hit World Tier 4, you can start doing Nightmare Dungeons, side dungeons with annoying mechanics and increased difficulty. Still with me? Good, because this is where my problems with the game begin to emerge, and it can be summed up in one word: gatekeeping. In order to fight Varshan, Grigor, Lord Zir and Beast in the Ice, you'll need to farm for materials. And for some bizarre reason, you need 4 to fight Varshan. I mean, why? To fight Duriel, you'll need 2 of each of the materials that drop from Varshan and Grigor. Thankfully, they're guaranteed to drop at least 1 every time you defeat them, unlike the ones you need to fight Andariel, which you can only get from Lord Zir and Beast in the Ice. You'll still need 2 of each, but they're not guaranteed drops. I mean, come on. Who decided it would be a good idea to make farming these mats so dull that I'd rather stick my head down the toilet and flush? Repeatedly. And if that's not bad enough, there's also the tormented versions of these bosses. And just to give you an example of how mind-numbingly dull this will be, you will need 10 of each of the materials that aren't guaranteed drops from Zir and Ice Beast, plus 3 Stygian stones from the pit. Another activity that looks exactly the same as Nightmare Dungeons, cunningly disguised by the addition of a timer. So, in summary, you have to farm the game to get the mats to fight the bosses, which you have to farm to fight the Uber bosses. Then go back, farm the bosses and the pit to fight tormented bosses. If you don't get the gear you're wanting, then you have to do it all again. Anyway, I have to go and dig out my chainsaw because I have a beard to trim. I'm Ricochet, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for future content.